Hello, everyone. The fifth episode of The Last of Us was recently made available, and it's safe to say that it was the most infected episode we've seen all season. During the battle in the final third of the episode, we got to see various stages of the Cordyceps infection. We were shown various stages, each of which appeared to come with distinct abilities. The Cordyceps infection is a fungal disease that is to blame for The Last of Us disintegration and the end of the world as we know it. The runners eventually develop into more dangerous stages of the infection, such as clickers and bloaters, as the infection progresses. The infection's second stage, clickers, are significantly more powerful than runners. They are known as clickers because when they use echolocation to see what's around them, they make a distinct clicking sound. Clickers are extremely dangerous because they have lost all sight and can only navigate and hunt with sound. Additionally, their skin has hardened to the point where knives and bullets are nearly useless against them. The bloater is the infection's final and most fatal stage. During this stage, the body's size dramatically increases and fungus spreads throughout. Bloaters can't see and can only find their prey by echolocation and their keen sense of smell. Additionally, they are able to release spores that can infect people who are not infected and cause them to become infected. The thought of the infection progressing from runner to clicker to bloater is terrifying. It serves as a reminder of the rapidity with which a disease can spread and mutate, which can have devastating effects on humanity. A terrifying depiction of a post-apocalyptic world where survival is the only objective and trust in other people is a rare commodity is provided by the television series The Last of Us. The Last of Us' overall depiction of the infection is both captivating and eerie. It serves as a reminder of how crucial it is to take the necessary precautions to stop the spread of diseases and the devastating effects that can occur if you don't. The stalkers are the infection's second stage. The infection is only in its second stage at this point. Before being bitten, the original human remains somewhat recognizable. However, by this time, the fungus has already begun to grow and should be visible on their head and face. The infected person eventually develops blindness as a result of this. This stage typically begins a few weeks to a month after the initial bite and is known to last about a year. Assuming that the infected person does not suffer any harm. They still pose a significant threat in this sense and are a group that you should be on the lookout for at this point because they still have the ability to see the victims they want to infect. One of the most perilous and terrifying stages of the Cordyceps infection are the clickers. Because these creatures lack eyesight, they are a constant threat to survivors because they cannot be seen by the infected. Clickers are very aggressive creatures who will attack anything that makes a sound. They gain strength and speed beyond human capabilities as they are drawn toward noise, making them nearly impossible to defeat in a one-on-one setting. The development of the fungus, which has now spread to the point where it can no longer be removed from the body of the host, is another significant change in this stage. The infected person now has thick tendrils emerging from their neck and shoulders as the fungal growth has taken over their entire head. The infected person's body has mutated and grown stronger as a result of this fungus's growing strength. In the game, clickers can be killed by using stealth attacks or a shift to stab them in the neck, which is the only part of their body that is vulnerable. However, fighting with a clicker is not a good idea because it will quickly turn into a losing battle. The various stages of the Cordyceps infection in The Last of Us are a crucial part of the game's lore, and the show's portrayal of them is not an exception. In conclusion, clickers represent a terrifying and lethal threat to anyone attempting to survive in the world of The Last of Us. The show's depiction of the infection is one of the most impressive in that it shows the characters facing different obstacles at each stage. For instance, runners may still be able to see, but their tendency to attack in groups makes them a significant threat to anyone who comes into contact with them. In contrast, clickers are nearly blind, making them harder to spot but still deadly in close combat. In addition, the show's depiction of infection stages demonstrates the writer's incredible creativity. It is both fascinating and horrifying to consider the possibility that a fungus could take over the human body and transform it into something entirely new. The amount of thought and detail that went into the creation of this fictional disease is demonstrated by the various abilities and characteristics of each stage of the infection. To develop this novel and terrifying concept, the authors looked to real-world parasitic fungi that infect and manipulate insects. There is no telling what other stages of the infection we might see in subsequent episodes.